Hi everyone, my name's Jim White. I started a small company back in 1990 and it's still going strong today. I guess that makes me an entrepreneur. At any rate, there's another company that was important in my existence and growth. Back in 1990, we didn't have internet. I'm located in a fairly small town. So to locate various parts that I needed, both for product development and for development of manufacturing processes, I had to go to the library and search through yellow pages from various big cities in the country. Also at that time, there was a publication called the Thomas Register. I think it was of American manufacturers, where you could find sources for items that you needed. Sometimes I would spend half a day running around to various hardware stores in the area looking for some part and then giving up. So the thing that helped me the most was learning about a company that has 500,000 items in stock at 5 locations all across the U.S. They take credit card orders. They ship the same day. And if you're in the same day delivery area of one of the services like UPS or FedEx, you can get things the very next day. This company doesn't advertise that I'm aware of, and it just spreads by word of mouth. Now here's their catalog. It's over 4,000 pages, but of course all this is on the internet in a very organized and helpful way with product specifications. Are you looking for a plastic that doesn't melt at 500 degrees? Do you need clear PVC pipe? They have just an incredible variety of things that you're just not going to find on Amazon. And I plan to take you through their website, which is basically this catalog. So it's an incredible company, and I hope you'll stick with me while I show you some of the information that's available on their website. Now, I don't have a teleprompter, so forgive me while I read this. This information is really useful to entrepreneurs that are engaged in product development or development of a manufacturing process. Inventors, both professional and home type, experimental scientists, amateur scientists, home experimenters, development engineers, research and development labs, people that build stuff at home to make YouTube videos, and hobbyists of all types. I'm sure I've missed someone, but everybody needs stuff. And this is a fantastic source for a lot of different and unusual stuff. Some things you don't even know exist, you will find by going to their website. The name of the company is McMaster Car, and their website is mcmaster.com. Their warehouses are located in Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Los Angeles, and New Jersey. So that covers a huge proportion of the population of the U.S. Now, you will pay for shipping, and if you have any brains at all, you should realize there is no such thing as free shipping. If you don't believe me, go to the post office or UPS or FedEx and ask them about their free shipping program. So let's look at the site and see some of the fantastic information that's there about the products. Okay, let's go to the McMaster.com website. And here you'll see all the different categories that they have for the materials that they sell. Now, full disclosure, I have no affiliation whatsoever with this company. I don't know anyone that works there. It's a privately held company, so you can't own stock. I would look into it actually if they were a publicly traded company. But at any rate, here you see all the different category of things. And if you click on anything here, it'll take you to the catalog page where that item is listed. So we're just doing a quick scan here. And actually right up here, you can just enter the type of item you're looking for. Now let's say you need some plastic, either for a product you're designing or for a test fixture for that product or a piece of machinery for manufacturing the product. But let's say you need plastic. Okay, we'll click here on plastic. And here's all the different shapes that you can get in plastic. Hexagonal bars, shim stock, balls, I-beams, U-channels, etc. But let's say you want sheets of plastic. You click here, and as you can see, there are all kinds of plastics. So this kind of looks helpless or hopeless at first. Now, all these designations, this is ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. You'll find very high, over here's very high molecular weight polyethylene. If you go to Wikipedia and enter these designations, it'll tell you what they mean. So polypropylene. Now here's PTFE. That's polytetrafluoroethylene, and you might know it as Teflon. And over here they actually use the trade name Teflon. So here's high temperature plastics. Here's clear plastics. Here you can get assortments of plastics to see what each is like. Here you can get mirrored plastics. And here's composite plastics. And this is an unusual item here. This is actually printed circuit board material. You can get it in 2-foot by 3-foot pieces, and you can get it in 2 different thicknesses, 32nd inch thick or a 1/16, and you can get it with copper on one side or on 2 sides. So that's a good source for printed circuit board material for making prototypes. Now, to help you with all this confusion, If we come up here to the very top, you see this little item here, About Plastic. We'll click on that, and then we got to go to the top again. But at any rate, here's information about plastics. Here's your various clear plastics, temperature range and strength and so forth. Now what's missing here is PVC. There is polyvinyl chloride clear plastic. I happen to know that because I use it a lot. So now here's multi-purpose plastics. Again, rough temperature range and tensile strength and impact resistance, etc. Then here's your high temperature plastics, and here we see the PTFE or Teflon, and we see that's out in the 500 some degrees. And here it's telling you about clarity, and here's flexural modulus and hardness. It shows some typical things along with the hardness scales so that you can get a feel for how hard something is. Then here's your multi-purpose plastics. So let's see, let's scroll down to something. Here's you can see all the different types. So you would make your search based on the type you're interested in. Now let's just click on high temperature plastic here. Okay, we got to get through all that stuff. Okay, this is the listings for PTFE or Teflon. And this, if you want a piece of this, here's a piece 6 inches by 6 inches, and then here's the thickness. Now if we go over here to the part number and click on it, it'll tell you if it's in stock. 99% of the time it's in stock. And then here's some more product detail, the tolerances, etc., durometer, whether this for use outdoors tells you it's UV resistant. And here's your tensile strength ratings and color and clarity and on and on. So in this way you can find the plastic that you want. And let's see, here's a 12-inch by 12-inch piece, 2 inches thick, and your choices are white or black. Look at that, it's in stock. A 2-inch thick piece of Teflon, 12 by 12 inches in dimension. So that's sort of how you would use the information that they have on their website for selecting plastic for something that you may want to do. Okay, next let's look at screws. And here's screws with a lot of different head styles. And there's a section on wood screws, etc. At the bottom of the page, which my screen recorder doesn't capture, there's threaded rods and studs. But At any rate, let's look at Hexhead screws. Now again, at the top here, we have about Hexhead screws and bolts. And this explains thread standards to you. By the way, McMaster carries both inch and metric hardware and pipe and so forth. So if you're designing a product that's going to ship worldwide, you might want to use metric hardware in your design. Now the number, if you're not familiar with screws, the smaller screws are nominally based on a number system from 0 to 12. And number 6 and number 8 screws are very popular. And this little table here shows you the outside diameter. Now beyond number 12, the inch type screws go by the actual fractional inch dimension. Like the next size screw here would be a 1/4 20, which would mean a 1/4 inch diameter and 20 threads per inch. Then here's some information about strength and corrosion resistance. And here's some specialty type Hexhead screws. I'm not sure they're all appearing as I record here. Okay, let's look at flathead screws for a moment. Here's a Phillips head flathead screw. And you have a choice of all kinds of materials. Let's click on that. Well, we're into the metrics here. And I'm just clicking on one at random here and going to product detail. And here you can see the length of flathead screws are always given from the top of the head to the end of the screw. Whereas with other types of heads, the nominal length is given from the bottom of the head to the end of the screw. So that's something you should bear in mind if you're ordering screws. You can see the different choices that are available. It's quite amazing. I wanted to get back to Hexhead screws. They're square heads. Okay, there's all these specialty heads again. Now here's various materials. You got your stainless steel, here's plastic. The plastics that they have are nylon and Teflon. And then this is kind of interesting, ceramic screws. May not have even known such a thing existed. They're quite expensive, But if you need high temperature and corrosion resistance, there might be reasons to use ceramic screws. So that's just a quick rundown on screws. You'll find 99% of them are in stock, and if you live in the one-day delivery zone of McMaster, you can have them the next day. Okay, next let's look at pipe. Got metal pipe, plastic pipe, copper tubing, and conduit. And here's structural pipe for making perhaps a machine frame or something like that. So here's metal pipe, different materials. There's stainless, threaded and unthreaded. There's fittings available for unthreaded pipe for welding systems. They're called socket weld fittings. So you can put a piping system together with no threads if you want. And here's aluminum pipe, brass pipe, nickel pipe. And of course here's your typical information. It's up at the top. There's types of fittings, and then here's how to tell the nominal size of the pipe, etc. Different information on threads. You can get tapered, which is what most piping system uses, and you can get straight threads as well. You can see the wealth of information available here. Now let's look at some standard threaded pipe. If I can get to it. Here we see standard wall, and that's called Schedule 40 pipe. And then you can get pipe with thicker walls, and Schedule 80 is common for higher pressure than Schedule 40. Okay, so here's some pipe nipples. So this is 1/8 inch nominal pipe size of different lengths. And let's go to a 1-inch size. The length doesn't really matter, but I'll pick 10 inches here. Now if we click on the part number, and of course it's in stock, but let's look at the product detail. Okay, here it tells you it's Schedule 40, and it's telling you the OD and the ID. Now notice this is a nominal 1-inch pipe, but the outside diameter is 1 5/16 inch. And the inside diameter is even a little larger than 1 inch. Now if you scroll down, I hope this is showing up, it'll show you the dimensions of the part. So a 1-inch pipe is actually slightly over 1 inch on the inside, and quite a bit, 30% bigger on the outside. So that's something you need to bear in mind when selecting or designing something using pipe. Here I've entered tubing, and you can see the various types available. And let's start by looking at metal tubing. And let's click on this one. Now again, we have about metal tubing here at the top. Now that you know how to do this, you can just do that yourself. Now normally the metal tubing, what I would call nominal, like a nominal 1-inch tubing, is the outside diameter. And it's available in different wall thicknesses. And you can see with the wall thickness, the pressure rating goes up. And in this case, it's available in different lengths. So if we pick a part here, we then also have to pick the length to see if it's in stock. There we are, it's in stock. And if you want more information, you click there. And there's the drawings showing the OD and ID of a nominal 1-inch metal tube. Now let's look at plastic and rubber tubing. And here you see there's a wide array of types of rubber and plastic tubing. Just as you saw all the different kinds of plastics, there's all kinds of plastic and rubber tubing. And again, here's basic information about plastic and rubber tubing. So you can go there yourself if you're in need of that type of information. This time I've just scrolled down through their category display, and let's look at raw materials here. We'll just look at metals, but you can see we got wire and wire cloth, ceramics, graphite, carbon fiber, glass, just rubber, all kinds of stuff. So let's look at metals. So here's a little bit of educational material on the various metals that they carry. And let's just click steel here. Okay, here's the various shapes that you can get steel in. And here's some additional steel items here. But let's look at sheets of steel. And here we start to see the wide array of alloys and stuff that are available. So once again, we have the informational section up here if you want to look there. And let's just look at some low carbon steel. Here's the size and the thickness. So here you can get 2-foot by 4-foot sheet, and then here's your thickness. So this is about 1/16 of an inch here. It's in stock. And there's some more information about it. Thermal conductivity even, density, etc. So now, at this point, I think you can see how to use their web page. You can find all kinds of technical information. Almost everything that I buy is always in stock. And the price, you may be able to beat the price somewhere else, but you certainly can't beat the information and the availability of what they have.